This gives us way more time, and we exiled the... That went really quickly, didn't it? I think they are out of counterspells. That was an instant. YOLO. I think he might not have them. Yes! He's out of counterspells. Oh my god, I cannot believe this is happening. Hello everyone, it's Sloth here, and today we are back with Dimir, and this Dimir is absolutely fantastic. If you are a fan of Dimir decks, try this one out, you should like it. And why I'm saying it? First of all, we actually did not lose a single game in High Mythic with this one, which is baffling to me. I feel we should, but we didn't. And second, it's actually one of the decks that I made just for myself because I wanted to play with some cool Dimir control, with counter spells, all the good stuff. And I tweaked it. It's Extractor because it had different cards at the start, but we ended with this one, and I feel this one is the best version of this deck by far. And honestly, yeah, like Invoke Despair, after I added 4 Invoke Despairs, this deck started to perform even better. And yeah, we'll go through all the card choices, but the deck is absolutely amazing and it feels really fun. It's one of the most fun Dimir decks I have been playing since a pretty long time, you know, overall. So, man, did my lands... I don't see my lands. Where are my basics? Alright, so Arena just shows that this deck has no basics. I guess. Guys, really, it has basics. It will be in the deck list, so don't worry. But so weird. I'm not sure what happened. Alright, back to the deck. So what exactly is this amazing, cool, freaking Dimir deck? This is a heavy control style with Kairi as a finisher, and I have to say, Kairi definitely really performed nicely in this deck. I might start building a bit more with Kairi. I think it's pretty strong card right now, especially if you combine it with Invoke Despair or Counter Spells, because both of those type of cards like go absolutely hard on 1-1 or even 1-3 as Invoke Despair. So if you can get multiples of those on top of, you know, tempo that you get from Kairi, and also card that your opponent wasted, it puts you so ahead, especially as a control deck that you usually are ahead in the cards already. So it's absolutely going over the top, and I feel that Ward 3 is much bigger than Ward 2. It's very close to Imref, and what it does is, the problem is not if your opponent can remove it, but if he can remove it and also go do it so many times that you lack counter spells. So you play Kairi, you have at least one counter spell. If your opponent has Infernal Grasp, he needs to pay already 5 mana. You counter it with like Dissipate or even Negate, and he needs another 5 mana to kill it. And probably he doesn't have it. And then you untap and you win the game. And that's the point. That's why Ward is so strong on control creatures. So, and when it dies, it does magic. And don't forget, the first ability, return any number of target non-land permanents. It is very important part. Return any number of target non-land permanent. If your opponent plays token deck, you can kill all the tokens in the game. I did it. The Migration Heart, you remember this card, it puts 3/3 for each basic type, so the main thing. You can basically kill all of them. I actually killed my own Kairi, not in the games that you will see, but when I tested the deck. I killed my Kairi and got rid of all the tokens, and I bounced the rest of his board, basically. That's a really strong play, especially that you are a counter spell deck, so very often they have things that they put into the game early game, so you couldn't counter them, right? Like Bankbuster, okay, maybe Bankbuster is not best, but for example Silex or Celestus, things like this, that are annoying and you cannot really do anything against them because you are playing Dimir. So you just bounce them if you want, but most likely you will get 2 instant sorceries or just Invoke Despair. Alright, enough about Kairi, but this is card we didn't play too much, and I think it deserves some praise. It definitely performed really well in this deck. So, for the deck, we have Syncopates because they are best countered against Tenacious Underdog. They also help with all the tempo-based, you know, decks like even Mono Blue. You can counter Jhin, you can slow them down, and in the end, it's always 1-for-1. At some point in the game you will find situation when you can trade this for a card, And that's good enough. It's a very flexible counter spell, and the exile effect really helps. You will see it even in the games against mono blue. It exiles instants. It means that the regime doesn't benefit from them. If you combine it with Dissipate, we actually have so many exile effects that we can basically get rid of 6 cards during the game, like for free, by the way countering them. So that's a huge effect, and don't ignore it, because you will see in one of the games like Jin with 0 attack thanks to all those counter spells. So for the Cardo is one of the biggest part of this deck. I have noticed in the early testing, let's say, that I very often went card for card, it couldn't refill very good. So that's why we placed 3 Silver Scrutiny. I feel this is a card that really gives you this infinite value factor, but Memory Deluge is still really good. I feel 4 Silver Scrutinies are a bit more too mana intensive. Sometimes you cannot cast it for like 7 because then you tap and you lose the game. So this is a bit better on the end step, you know? This is the end step draw. This is the full refill I already tried. What it enables you is to play deck very differently. Usually you try to not waste counter spells, not waste removal. I actually, with this deck, I wasted Invoke Despair because that's how much value I had in the hand. So for example, your opponent is countering everything and you just, fine, counter my Invoke Despair, I will refill with Silver Scrutiny. And then when you refill, you have 7 cards again and your opponent is at 3 and you will win the game from this position. And the big thing for this deck, actually a huge part of this deck, man, where are my cards? There is a 4-drop here as well. Man, what's going on with Arena? Okay, I will restart, I guess. Man, this is so weird. I'm not sure what's going on with Arena. It cuts some of the cards. I wanted to talk about Devious Cover-Up. For the basics, you don't care because you have them in the deck list, but Devious Cover-Up is actually a huge part of this deck, so weird. Yeah, we actually have more exile effects, 8 in total. Alright, so let's get back to this. Arena, fix your things, please. Alright, so Devious Cover-Up is the biggest part of this deck outside of Kairi and Cardo, basically. This lets you play the long game. This is also one of the reasons we don't really have too many win conditions. You have Kairi, and that's basically it. Of course you have Invoke Despair, but it deals 6 damage. You need to hit 4 of them without any targets, and then you kill. If your opponent had like 2 creatures, you deal 18. So it means you don't kill him. So this is something you generally don't... You cannot win the game on its own. However, if you cycle them back, you absolutely can, and with card advantage and shuffling counter spells into the deck, you absolutely can overwhelm and lock down enemies. So this is a huge part of this strategy. We are just locking down our opponent out of the game. So Devious Cover-Up, you will see how to not play Devious Cover-Up in one of the games when our opponent tries to use this card. Don't do the same thing. That's not how you play the card. And you will also see how you should play this card from our side. And that's why good things will happen then. So definitely a key card. Don't get it countered if you are in control matchups. This is the biggest win condition you have. You need to have 2 of them cycling over and over and make sure they never get countered. Always cast it when you're sure you can protect it more than Kairi. Kairi can go, Devious Cover-Up cannot. So, something to really remember. And why Liliana in the deck? This is an interesting choice, right? Because we have cards, we don't really play any kind of discard synergy. Yeah, we play discard synergy, card draw. Card draw is discard synergy because this is symmetrical effect for Liliana. It means that the player that has more cards doesn't suffer from Liliana as much as the other one. And with control deck, this is really good because we have a lot of cards that don't play into every matchup. Like if you are playing against creature deck, you don't need Negate. If you are playing controlled matchup, you don't need Meathook Massacre and Cut Down. And you know, sometimes you don't need Silex in the matchup. For this reason, you can basically trade all your bad cards for good cards for your opponent. And the big part about this whole thing is when your opponent hits 0 cards, he loses the game. If you have 3 cards and your opponent has 0, you play Kairi and he's dead. Because he has only 1 top deck to get back into the game, and very often you have a counter spell, so whatever he draws, he loses anyway. And that's the reason why we have Liliana. She's also a great removal. If you +1 her once, you get basically 2 free removal for 0 mana, or for 3 mana originally. But later you can basically get -2 on top of staying with the counterspell shield. This means that you remove board and still protect the board, which is much different than just casting Infernal Grasp. Even if you have it, you still need to tap out for it, protect, defend. It can get countered, things like this. Liliana is absolutely amazing in this deck. She might not seem like it, but she's a big deal here. And you will see it in the games as well. Alright, I think that I'm usually talking about Dimir way too long, but I'm really passionate about this archetype. And this deck is absolutely cool. It's cool, it's strong, and it seems that in high Mythic it performs really well, which is surprising to me. So yeah, and generally I feel you shouldn't win against Mono Blue too much, but we actually won all of the games versus Mono Blue. Not sure if we outplayed them, I think we actually did, but you can judge for yourself. So be careful about this matchup, probably the hardest for us. And with that being said, if you like Dimir decks, definitely subscribe, because we will be back to them. Always, forever, because that's a cool archetype. And if you like other decks, we will also have something for you. So daily content, cool, very much subscribe. And yeah, let's go into the games. And I really appreciate all the support, guys, all the comments. I hope you enjoyed the channel as much as I do. Alright, so let's consider this hand. Okay, I have considered this hand. That was a weird way to put it. But let's play with the island. I don't think there's any target that I want to remove that is a 1-drop. If that's a... Oh my god, is everyone playing Mono Blue today? Man, I'm playing this matchup way more, which I'm not surprised because it's the best deck in my opinion right now. Okay, this is Azorius. I wonder if it's control? Do we go for Liliana? Liliana can get countered and that wouldn't be great. But at the same time, they need exactly make disappear. And we don't have counters, so I think we can risk this one. Of course they have. Why wouldn't you have make disappear in every opening? It's fine, like... we didn't super need her, but that would be a nice addition as a remover. Now we need to play a little bit differently. So this will be the Emperor. I guess let's force the Emperor right now. It might be Memory Deluge as well, but it feels that it's like 60% Emperor. We can kill her, but she will be annoying. She is always annoying, let's be honest about it. Emperor is such a strong card. Alright, we have Invoke. We need this swamp, so we play Raffine Tower right now. I want to get into my counterspells, like we are quite unlucky with the counterspells so far. We played quite a lot of them and we didn't hit a single one. So I definitely want to start hitting those. Our opponent has only 6 mana. Silex is interesting, definitely a card that might matter. So we will cast Memory Deluge at the end step, and then we have 2 extra mana. This means that Make Disappear does not work anymore. And this is end step, so it's not great for him to counter. This is generally really card he wants to counter, because it gives us potentially to counter spells, and that wins the control matchup. I'm not sure about the removal and Silex right now, because we cannot really play them, because then we are tapped out and he gets advantage in mana. I mean, it's kinda easy choice here, I guess. Alright. Do we start the Invoke train? Yeah, we do. It's not perfect, but we can cycle our hand just a little bit, get some negates. That's actually good. Like, I have so much value in the hand that I want to start trading with him. The problem in this game is that we went through 1/3 of the deck and we didn't hit a single counterspell, and that's really bad. I mean, really bad. We need to keep playing lands every single turn, that's really important. Alright, and I feel that it's enough time that we didn't have any counterplay. We need Memory Deluge and we start to hit some counter spells. With Silver Scrutiny we can go very wasteful and still reload later, so it's fine. As long as you have Silver Scrutiny and also, you know, double invoke, you can just force card for card, even such a great card as 7 mana Memory Deluge. If he counters, even with Make Disappear, that's good. It's one of his remaining 6 cards. Nice, we finally have some counter spells. I honestly don't like Syncopate too much here. Maybe I should, but I don't. It will take so much mana, and as you can see we are always short on mana. Alright, Silex is actually a big deal. Cool. If that goes through, I'm absolutely happy with this. So this is Azorius, control, but not sure how they play. They for sure play 4 Emperors, all of those decks do, because she's too good. So I think we just keep casting Invokes and see how long will he counter. I don't even protect this one. If he counters it, that's good. Cool. Another counter spell down. 5 cards. Devious Cover-Up needs to resolve though, because we will get all those Invoke Despairs back. And that's absolutely fine for us. Lands are actually really good. As long as we develop with land drops, we are happy. What about this one? Always we have so much mana that he needs at least 5 mana Syncopate. Sure. He drew quite a lot of hard counter spells, but that's fine. 5 cards to go. 5 cards to go. When he stops having counter spells, he might go aggressive. Alright. And we are stacking a lot of counter spells, so if he wants to resolve something... Man, this is such a control versus control matchup. Like we are both just doing nothing and countering stuff. Alright, so I have quite a lot of counter spells. I think I can get rid of much. Maybe Inferno Grasp is still here. They usually have some creatures. It might be Hullbreaker. Yeah, like Hullbreaker is something we definitely need to keep an eye on. Iliana is pretty good. She's very cheap and very like they need to counter her. Rona Vortex. Against Hullbreaker that could be good, and some Planewalkers. But honestly, I like my lands. I like my land drops, especially that we will be high on the cards. So I don't super want to discard. What about this modest 3 mana Planewalker? She's absolutely strong here, and I think this is the first card we actually want to defend. Not sure how hard, but we will probably defend her, because she can start pressuring card for card, and we won't run out of cards ever. And when we get him to 0 cards, it means that everything resolves and we win. So that's my idea. Devious Cover-Up. Do we have enough stuff? Alright, so this will be a Negate. I want Negate first so I can get it back. Can we make it this way somehow? I would think longer, but I don't want to drag the video, so... Yeah, we can protect our Devious Cover-Up, for sure. It's unfortunate, but we'll take those cards. I will actually take all of them. Like, they are pretty good. It looks pretty nice, doesn't it? Devious Cover-Up is such an amazing card. Probably one of my favorite counter spells. And he really wanted to get all of those. He made a mistake, because this is a key card for the matchup. This is the most important card generally. And now we get our stuff. However, we need to resolve the second Devious Cover-Up. And that's absolutely extremely the most important in the war. And thanks to Silex, we don't super care about stuff, because we can always remove whatever happens. He's down to 5 cards already, which is sweet. And we still have double counterspell, or counterspell and the removal. So I think we are quite protected. I think this is the turn. He needs to do something really major or he will lose the game. Kafar Commander. So, but that doesn't kill Liliana. I guess this kills Silex, so that's something. But this doesn't kill Liliana, and that's huge. Thanks to +1. Because all I need from Liliana is that she keeps plussing every single turn until he's out of cards. I don't need anything else. I'm not going for the ultimate. Ultimate isn't even good here. Like, okay, he gets 4 lands and that's it. Like, he doesn't have anything to play anyway. So, you know, it's something, but it's not great. Alright, so he really wants to kill Liliana with this. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine for us. I think we'll fight for the Infernal Grasp main phase. I need as much mana as I can. Oh, that's a really good draw. First, we have really good cards. You know what? This is an exception. I will actually first do the Meathook Massacre, because I want to see if he counters it. And then we +1. Because I want to discard Infernal Grasp, but if I do it, then things might go wrong. Oh my god, do I really get rid of Silver Scrutiny? Alright, so we need 6 mana. Oh yeah. So I think we definitely want to pressure him. Oh my god, do I really do it? I cannot be possibly so greedy. Oh, this is Emperor, right? So we need to prepare 2 mana. Okay, so this will be 2 and 4. So we go for silver for 3. I guess. Not sure if we play the land. Let's see. Let's see if it goes through. He might counter it. Maybe I should go for 2 just to keep up Devious Cover-Up in case he's tapped out completely. I'm not sure if he has oh, he has Farewell, right? He definitely has Farewell. Okay, now +1 is really good. And that's why we wanted the +1, right?
Drop it.
I don't need Rona Vortex. Like, it's a good card, but I think I prefer Syncopate. As you can see, he's very often tapped out absolutely. And we have way more lands. Okay. Discarding land is actually fine. So I think he wants to play the Emperor. Yeah? Oh, I thought he plays the Emperor and makes a token, and that's exactly lethal on Liliana. Oh, I think he just lost the game. Okay, yeah, he lost the game. Right now, the pressure. Look at our cards, look at his cards. Guess who one will not have cards very soon. And he also cannot play lands, he cannot really do anything. And now we keep all the mana, because he is the one that needs to do something. And at the end phase we can actually use the ultimate just to, you know, clarify that we are the superior gamer. He won't like when he sees that we discard counter spells. Do we discard? Yeah, one can go. Depopulate. Yeah, we are starting to get into stuff. And he cannot cast anything. He will never have enough cards to play around what we have. Oh man, that's so brutal. Like, I don't know what to do with cards, honestly. I feel that we are absolutely smashing him right now. Yeah, the play. I draw a card in response. Yes, definitely different than discarding. Well, to be honest, he cycles deeper into the deck. The problem for him is that whatever he does, in the end I guess he could win the mill game, so we need to keep it in mind for Devious Cover-Up. So his plan will be to draw cards every single turn, I guess. The problem for him is that Liliana can ultimate, and in 2 turns she will. And that will cut his ability to stack counter spells, and that's a big one. Yeah, I know I said it doesn't matter, but you know, if he goes for the I hope I mill my deck strategy, then I guess we can play it like this as well. So he decided to never play a card. Oh my god, that's absolute like legendary matchup between control mages. Nobody wants to play cards. Yeah? Like this is a lockdown. Next turn we split his lands into 4, and then we can start playing invokes while still having counter spells. He threw it at the moment when he wasted his Devious Cover-Up. Alright, we are going first with Syncopate and Dissipate. So, you know, way too many islands though. We definitely have way too many islands. I don't think there's a big chance that we will keep drawing swamps every single turn for the rest of the game. So let's start with the untapped land and go with the, you know, marsh as a third lander. Because we could start with it. And theoretically, if we drew 5 swamps in a row, that would make a difference. Alright. So right now we are in full control mode. We have 3 counter spells, some cardo, and we definitely need to make sure that we go. Alright, and now we know exactly what we are fighting against. This is a problem. I think with Silver Scrutiny for 2, most likely, and mono blue. Alright, so let's go. Do we go for silver for 3? You know what? I will. We need to get rid of the tap lands as soon as possible because we need to double spell very quickly. Like even now, Jin is a possibility already, and we also want the black mana, so Raffine Tower will help. Okay, definitely swamp. Alright, and now we can double spell or we can draw 3 cards, which should help just a little bit. It's a very hard situation, but they need to resolve their spells, and we also have to. Okay, so I'm not doing anything, but he will probably cast first. Oh my god, he's actually at the stage of discarding stuff. Alright, I have an idea. We want 1 more swamp and we can start threatening the invoke. Let's go for Syncopate. This is actually important to deny them card advantage. I remember playing mono blue and first is pretty huge. So the point is that we want him to get tap out completely. And at this point we can follow up with Liliana or Invoke Despair, or both maybe even. But we are quite far from both. Okay, so we have a lot of card advantage, that's really good. We counter all the card advantage he has, it also prevents him to play land, so that's why we keep him low. And hopefully he will start casting the Jin. Our chance is that he messes up the Jin a bit. It won't be easy though, it won't be easy. I want my cards. That's definitely a thing. So I think we give him 1 more draw, and at the end step we play Silver Scrutiny for 3. Consider it's okay. Like, it's not card advantage. It will give him the land, so he will be at 5. Make disappear. So yeah, mana based counter spells are much weaker right now. And yeah, that's the 5th one. And he should start playing more aggressively. He cannot cast Jin at the end step, so that's why we can go. Let's check if we can counter spell. If we go for 3 we can't. If we go for 2, yeah, let's go for 3. Because we still can pay the make disappear tax. If he goes for Syncopate for 3 mana, that's acceptable for us. Okay, hard counter spell, good. First down. Alright, if we cast this, we cannot follow through. He can only cast 1 counter spell. This means Liliana goes through. Maybe if he has Spell Pierce. Spell Pierce is actually the only one. Yep. Oh, hi. Enjoy the Liliana. And we can start blasting her. It's really huge. It's really huge because right now all the genes die automatically. And we leave the Meathook in case he, you know, vomits 5 creatures or something crazy like this. And as you can see, he had mana-based counter spells. And right now he's in a serious pickle. Okay, so that was my reasoning exactly. Still, that is a problem because he probably has counterspell as well. Probably Kairi is the safest bet. I think one of those is a counterspell. So how do we play this one out? We could also +1 Liliana and get rid of his cards just a little bit. So he needs to make decision right now, and then we play Kairi. And then we lose Liliana. This dies to mana-based counterspell. If we play this, this is the same. Invoke Despair is actually the safest bet, but it's still not great. I don't like it too much, but that's what we have to do. So it will probably get counterspelled. It's also second spell, so Earth-Ice Scorn is 1 mana. Right? No, that's my first spell. Oh my god. I'm a dummy. But he has only 2 cards, and we have 2 cards that matter. As you can see, Liliana is a huge problem. We didn't draw our instant removals though. Alright, so he might have Fading Hope. I guess. Let's keep pushing. But first let's go with this one. We have 2 turns. So if he wants to counter something, it should be this one. He might Fading Hope or something, but that's fine. Alright. Oh, Impulse is brutal. He will definitely find a counter spell this way. So we have 1 more turn. Yep. I think that was the other card. That wasn't the one he drew. I think. Oh man, this will be so hard. Kairi is a big deal, but it just dies to make disappear. Our mana is just a little bit unfortunate, because we cannot cast our 6 drops with 2 mana. And that's a strong hit. Definitely a strong one. So we die next turn, and that's really important. Alright. We play this. At this point I don't think I can risk Fading Hope. Yep. If he has another Negate, he wins. He just needs a hard counterspell or Syncopate. If he doesn't, I think he lost. Okay, that's still 3 cards for us and quite a lot of damage. Alright, this means this card was not a counterspell, so he has 1 chance of drawing a counterspell. Oh, he went all in. And I mean all in. We do it right now. In case it's a land, he cannot cast any spells, I guess. Because he can play land and you cannot respond to it, and then he has a counter spell. I mean, we have to kill it, right? Alright, so 9 mana. We can go for 8. If we go for 4, we cannot cast anything. So, you know, while he's tapped out. And he lost a lot. Okay, so 2 Djinns and 1 Terror. I'm not sure if he's playing my version or the more popular ones with 1 Terror. And now Kairi will do the job. Oh, I think he's done. Yep, that's absolutely fine. And now he's in top deck mode. Just not first. Just don't draw first, my friend. That's a Kairi for you. So, did you... Oh my god, he just top-decked another one? That's actually so crazy. He literally top-decked. Oh my god. And our top deck with Memory Deluge is... No. Nothing. Oh my god, that was so lame. And now he's top-decking the card though? Man, he's drawing those cards literally from the top. We had this game already. Now it might be a huge problem overall. So, we are back into the grind again. We had this game closed, unless he drew this. And he drew this. Well, definitely. I guess Syncopate would also work. Alright, so I guess we need to go into Devious Cover-Ups and, you know, do our thing. This is the end step still. Man, his draw is absolutely godly. Like, he's drawing Cardo into Cardo into Cardo, which is basically the best you can get in this case of situation. Let's go for Memory Deluge and find some good counter spells. We still have to overwhelm him. He can Syncopate for a lot if he's absolute god of a top decker, and of course he is. One of the remaining 2 cards is also a Syncopate. I guess with so much selection, wow, cool. Man, this game should be over 10 turns ago, but he's just drawing. Oh man. This is really unfortunate because, like, the chance was so low that Kairi was a good decision, but we used all of our Kairis this way. Because normally if you play against guy with counter spells, you know that he has counter spells, so you know, you play more carefully. But if he's in top deck mode, you know you don't have to, because the chance he draws, you know, hard counter spell is very low. They basically have only 4 Airtight Scorns as a hard counter spell, that's it. And he already used some before, right? Yeah, he used 1, 2. So that was the 3rd one already. Alright, that's a Devious Cover-Up. We need to make sure it resolves and we get back the Kairi. With this deck you sometimes need to, you know, think a bit harder how you play this. And this is definitely something we want to counter. Alright, Kairi. Invoke. I like counter spells. Alright, he will counter it if he can. So we will Syncopate. And we need to not hit 2 counter spells from our opponent. Because this is huge. This is how we win the game. We have what? 28 cards, so that's pretty fair. And we can destroy 2 creatures at end step. Probably not Tolarian Terror because of toughness and ward. It's easy decision. If you have a counter spell, you counter it, my friend. Nothing to think about. So, 2 negates are down. 3 Airtime Scorn, so he has 1 or 2 negate and 1 Airtime Scorn as a hard counter spell. And Syncopates 1, 2. So he has probably 2 Syncopates more. Yeah, so like 4 hard counter spells remaining. Well, I'm not sure if this is dropping from the most sweaty meta deck in the format. I guess he doesn't like it. Okay, so it seems to be roping on purpose, I think. Yep, our opponent just roped us and basically Ragequit the game, which is funny because he actually got perfect top decks for like 4 turns when it mattered. This game should be over much faster. Alright, we are going first. I like this hand. I think this is a decent hand. With Memory Deluge, you generally want as much mana as possible. Wow, turn 1 Delver. This is the only way, this is the only thing I didn't play around. Okay, so I think we die. Man, we played so much mono blue today. Mono blue, oh my god, like absolutely taking over the ladder so far. Yeah, sure. Why not 2 Delvers on opening hand? Oh my god, that's so annoying. And we won't be able to resolve the Invoke Despair. I guess they aren't flipped, but it won't make a difference, honestly. The game is nearly over. Oh man, that's so lame. So we will cast Memory Deluge, we'll try to protect. Yeah, if he flips this turn is already too bad. I think we needed like 2 more turns of bad luck from him. Like we can cast it, but he will counter this one. And then we don't really have much going on. Like, I had very good counterspell for every matchup except mono blue with turn 1 Delver and mono black with turn 1 Sleeper. But against Sleeper we could just play around it, you know? Against those we cannot because our spells won't work for the rest of the game. Yeah, you counter it, bro. You counter it. I'll help you. Unless you have like one spell, one counter spell. You have enough counter spells. I think Kairi is something. It's a different type of threat, so you know. Alright, so we play land. He will cast first at the end step, so we need to play Syncopate for 2. And then we Infernal Grasp one of those. No, we first Infernal Grasp one of those. Okay. Well, this will be so hard. The only way he loses it is if he plays very bad. So let's bank on him playing very bad. I do it first because this means he cannot use any kind of counter spells, so he loses this one. And you know what? We could do the thing, but I think we can do it next turn as well, right? Now we go for Syncopate, and he will also have 1 mana counter spell because he has the God Draw. Oh, not God Draw enough. So 4 cards. We can definitely kill this one. Now the Jin is here as well. They might have Negate, right? They might have Negate. They generally have way more. This is probably Earth-Ice Scorn, I think. Generally this deck has less creature counter spells than anything else. They have Negate and Spell Pierce, so that's why Kairi avoids some of his counter spells, and this is every counter spell possible. March. They won't kill us this turn. Yeah, I think we pressure them at the end step. So far it's 3 damage. It means that good player won't do anything and will just wait. And attack for 0 basically. They won't do anything else. Let's be honest. And they didn't attack with Jin, so we can do it already. Let's go for 2, so we can cast our stuff. Okay, we need to tap him out as much as possible. It's still like we are always on the losing side because this is like same control as we are, just with more counter spells basically and cheaper creatures. Alright. We could tap him out. Is it better? Nah, I think countering this one is better. This gives us way more time, and we exiled the... That went really quickly, didn't it? I think they are out of counter spells. Oh my god, I was talking, I didn't check how quick this is. That was an instant, what we played, so... YOLO. I think he might not have them. Yes! He's out of counter spells. Oh my god, I cannot believe this is happening. We have 4, 7. Let's take the Raffine tower. I might cycle it. Also, having even this 1 extra mana might make a difference. If he casts some, like, land, impulse and Jin, it can counter something. Oh my god, I cannot believe. How can we win this matchup? Like, we shouldn't be able to win this matchup, and they just... Even with such a draw, oh my god. I cannot believe we won this. Well, nice.